y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have the Witches Goddesses collection coming from Sassy Pants Polish. This collection will be available for pre-release at PolishCon in Chicago on September 17th and will release everywhere else on September 23rd. This is a collection of 6 vampy yet vibrant shades that are going to be perfect for fall. They will retail for $7 to $8 depending on the finish in mini size, or $11 to $12 depending on the finish on full size. This collection was sent to me for review, and I'll go ahead and show you how they swatched. So first up is Morrigan. This one is described as a blood red holographic polish with a slight silver foil shimmer. Really pretty. This is probably my pick of this entire collection. I love reds. This is a nice, gorgeous, deep one with lots of sparkle. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot. And I'll show you how Morrigan swatched on my natural nail. So here is the first coat. This one did go on nice and smooth and easily, no pulling, running. It did go on a tiny bit streaky though, and it's not quite opaque here. So I am going to let this dry and come back in for another coat. So here is the second coat. Again, really smooth, easy formula. I did do a nice thick second coat, but this is going to bring this one completely opaque. This second coat does deepen the color quite a bit to pretty much what's in the bottle. It may get a little bit brush strokey on you, so you may want to be mindful when you kind of do nice long strokes downwards. It does also dry fairly glossy, but I do recommend a nice top coat to keep that hollow effect super strong. So here is a look at the completed mani without top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and once more at an angle under artificial lighting. I will have a stamping roundup at the end of this video. So next up is Aradia. This one is described as a shimmering copper with subtle green shimmer. So here's a look at it in the bottle. You can see that shimmer is pretty strong. I didn't get much of a green fill out of it, maybe a little bit, but it's mostly golden. So here is a brush shot, and I'll show you how Aradia swatched on my natural nail. So here is one coat. This one is kind of sheer on the first coat, but it went on nice and evenly, really smooth. This is another one that may get a little bit brush strokey on you, but as long as you do nice long strokes, it shouldn't be that bad. You can also kind of stamp on or dab on the last coat to even it out a bit. So this is pretty sheer. I'm going to let it dry and come back in for a second coat. This second coat does build it up very well. I did do a nice thick second coat, and I really think you could stop here. But in certain lighting, I could still see a little bit of my nail line, so I'm going to let this dry and then come back in for one more coat. Another tip that I found pretty helpful is to cap the tips on like the first 2 coats, but on the third one, don't, because it's going to stand out quite a bit. So here is the third and final coat, and this is for sure going to make it completely opaque. So here is a look at the completed mani without top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting. And once more at an angle under artificial lighting. Next up is Pythia, and this is described as an olive green polish with an orange shimmer. So here's a quick look in the bottle. This one does have a nice strong shimmer that translates well to the nail, but this is another one that may get a little bit streaky on you. So I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Pythia swatched on my natural nail. So here is one coat. The formula on this is really good. It feels easy to apply, but it is really, really sheer. I thought at first that I may have to use this one as a topper, but it did end up getting close to opaque. So I'll let this dry and then come back in and show you what a second coat looks like. So here is the second coat, and this is going to build up the intensity a little bit and adds a ton of that reflective shimmer, but it's not quite opaque yet, so I am going to let this dry and then come back in for another coat. So here is the third coat, and this brings it right to the edge of being opaque for me. That shimmer does help it look a little bit more opaque in all kinds of different lightings. I think if you did a fourth one, it may be completely opaque, or you could always use this as a topper. So here's a look at the completed mani without top coat, and you can kind of see what I mean there by the shimmer kind of masking that nail line. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting. And once more at an angle under artificial lighting. Next up is Hecate, and this is my second favorite of the collection. A really gorgeous polish. This is described as a rich black and teal holographic polish. It does look like it has some green shimmer in there as well. Really gorgeous combination. I'll show you a brush shot. And I'll show you how Hecate swatched on my natural nail. I love that name anyway from the Penny Dreadful TV series. I loved that. So here is the first coat. This polish again goes on really nice, really smooth, really evenly, but it's not quite opaque at one coat, so I am going to let this dry and then come back in for one more. So here is the second coat. This does deepen it up. That shimmer really helps it be opaque as well. I feel like this polish has a pretty strong holographic linear effect too. It does dry glossy, but of course I recommend a nice top coat. So here is a look at the completed mani without top coat, and you can see that shimmer really comes out in artificial lighting. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting. And once more at an angle under artificial lighting. Next up is Selene, and Selene is described as a dark, bewitching blue shimmer polish with silver platinum micro flakes. There are a ton of the platinum kind of flakes in here. It's really pretty. It almost adds like a silver shimmer to the whole thing. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Selene swatched on my natural nail. So here is one coat. This polish does start out a little bit sheer, but you get a ton of shimmer, a ton of that silver. It goes on really smoothly. None of the flakes stick up or anything like that. I am going to do a nice thick first coat here. And I'll let it dry and come back in for one more coat. Here is the second coat of Selene. And this does make it a little bit more opaque, but not completely. I can still see some nail line there. So I'm going to let this dry and then come back in for just one more coat. So here is the third coat. I'm going to do a nice thick third coat, and this is going to bring this one completely opaque for me. This one doesn't dry down really textured at all, but of course a top coat is going to make that silver pop just a little bit more and also protect the polish for longer wear. So here's a quick look at the completed mani before top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting. And once more at an angle under artificial lighting. So lastly today I have Rhiannon, and this is described as a vampy purple shimmer polish with a red shimmer. So this almost comes off like a metallic. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Rhiannon swatched on my natural nail. So here is the first coat. This one has much the same formula as Pythia. It's a little bit sheer, has a lot of shimmer, and goes on really smoothly. I'm going to let this dry and then come back in for one more coat. So here is the second coat. This is going to intensify this polish a little bit, but it's really not anywhere close to being opaque at 2 coats. So I am going to let this dry and come back in for another coat. So here is the third coat. And this still didn't really bring this one opaque for me, so I would probably use it as a topper. It is gorgeous, has lots of shimmer, but it's definitely going to leave you with a nail line, especially if you have longer nails. So here is a look at the completed mani without top coat. You can see there again that the shimmer really does mask some of the nail line. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting. And once more at an angle under artificial lighting. So I'll give you a quick look today at how they stamp. Over white they're okay, you can get a good amount of color there and pigment. I was missing a little bit of the detail in pickup, but you could use them absolutely for stamping. Over black, I think the ones that stood out best for me were Morrigan and Aradia. Aradia really popped over black. So that wraps up my swatch stamp-in review of the Witches Goddesses collection coming soon from Sassy Pants Polish. I will link all of their social media down below. I'm jealous of all you girls that are going to PolishCon. Definitely just stop by her booth and check them out. If you'd like to see more photos, I do have those available on my blog at sloppyswatches.wordpress.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at sloppyswatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.